In a land where the cries for justice echo across valleys and hills, a nation stands at the crossroads of destiny. Guided by the wisdom of a prophet and the hand of God, Israel faces an unprecedented choice. Will they remain a people set apart under divine rule, or will they surrender to the allure of human leadership? This is a tale of twists and turns, of triumph and heartbreak. A story where God's plans collide with human ambition. What does it truly mean to be led by a king? Will this decision bring unity or unravel the threads of their covenant with God? Join us as we uncover the riveting story of Israel asks for a king. Let the drama unfold. Bible Forge presents Israel asks for a king. A long time ago, in the land of Israel, Samuel the prophet had grown old. He had spent his life faithfully leading the people and guiding them to follow God. But now, Samuel's strength was failing, and he had two sons, Joel and Abijah, to whom he entrusted the role of judges. Unfortunately, these sons did not follow in their father's righteous footsteps. They were selfish, greedy, and corrupt, swayed by bribes and favoritism. They turned away from justice, accepting gifts from the guilty to let them go free, even when their crimes were obvious. The people of Israel began to grumble, their frustration growing day by day. The leaders and elders of the nation, their hearts heavy with concern, gathered in Ramah, where Samuel lived. "Samuel," they said, their voices trembling with both respect and frustration, "you are old, and your sons do not walk in your ways. They take bribes, they dishonor justice, and they are unfit to lead us. Therefore, we ask you, give us a king to rule over us, just like the nations around us." Samuel's heart sank. A king? Israel was supposed to be different, set apart under the rule of God himself. Why would the people want to be like other nations, submitting to a human king instead of the King of Kings? Samuel's mind raced, and his spirit was troubled. That night, Samuel knelt in prayer, pouring out his soul to the Lord. "They have rejected me as their leader, Lord," he cried, "but I fear they have also turned away from you." The Lord's response was solemn yet understanding. "Do not take this personally, Samuel. They are not rejecting you. They are rejecting me as their king. This is nothing new. From the day I brought them out of Egypt, they have continually forsaken me to follow other gods. If they insist on a king, let them have one. But warn them, Samuel, make it clear what it would mean to live under a king's rule." The next morning, Samuel gathered the people and spoke to them with a heavy heart. "Do you understand what you are asking for?" he said. His voice echoed through the crowd, solemn and foreboding. "If you have a king, he will claim your sons for his army. He will take your daughters to work in his palace. The best of your fields, vineyards, and olive groves will be his. A portion of everything you harvest, everything you earn, will go to him and his officials. You will cry out because of the burden your king places upon you. But the Lord will not answer you in that day." But the people would not listen. Their voices rose in defiance. "We want a king. We want to be like other nations. Let a king lead us into battle and rule over us." Samuel looked at them, his heart breaking. "Very well," he said, his voice heavy with resignation. "Return to your homes. The Lord will choose your king." For days, Samuel waited on the Lord for guidance. Then one day, in a quiet moment of prayer, God spoke to him. "Tomorrow, I will send you a man from the land of Benjamin. He is the one I have chosen to be king over my people." The following day, as Samuel sat by the city gate, a tall, striking young man entered the town. His name was Saul, the son of Kish, from the tribe of Benjamin. He was searching for his father's lost donkeys, wandering from town to town in frustration. Saul's search and the twist of fate. "Servant," Saul said, exasperated, "we've searched everywhere. Let's go back before my father starts worrying about us instead of the donkeys." "Wait," the servant replied. "In this town, there's a man of God, a prophet. Everything he says comes true. Perhaps he can tell us where the donkeys are." "But we have nothing to give him," Saul protested. "No bread, no silver. I have a small silver coin," the servant said, holding it up. "Let's go." When they arrived in the town, they met some young women drawing water. "Excuse us," Saul said. "Is the prophet here?" "Yes," one of the women replied with a smile. "He just arrived. Hurry. He's about to join the people for a sacrifice at the high place." Saul and his servant hurried into the town, and as they approached, Samuel spotted them. The Lord whispered to Samuel, "This is the man I told you about. He will rule my people." The anointing of Saul. When Saul approached Samuel, he asked, "Excuse me, sir. Can you tell us where to find the prophet?" Samuel smiled. "I am the prophet," he said. "Come with me to the high place. Today, you will eat with me, and tomorrow I will answer all your questions. As for the donkeys you lost 3 days ago, don't worry. They've been found." And Saul, "The hopes of Israel are set on you and your family." Saul's eyes widened in shock. "But why me?" he stammered. "I'm from the smallest tribe in Israel, and my family is insignificant. Why would Israel's hopes rest on me?" Samuel said nothing more for the moment. He led Saul to a banquet hall where 30 guests were gathered. Saul was given the seat of honor and served the finest portion of meat, reserved especially for him. That night, as they talked on Samuel's rooftop, Saul's heart was heavy with questions, yet he felt a sense of destiny stirring within him. The next morning, Samuel walked with Saul to the edge of the town. "Send your servant ahead," Samuel said. When they were alone, Samuel took out a flask of oil and poured it over Saul's head. "The Lord has anointed you as king over his people," Samuel declared. "You will save them from their enemies. To confirm this, 3 signs will happen today." Everything happened as Samuel foretold. Saul met the 2 men near Rachel's tomb, the 3 worshippers at the great tree, and the group of prophets. When Saul joined the prophets, the Spirit of God came upon him, and he began to prophesy. His heart transformed. Days later, Samuel gathered all of Israel at Mizpah. Lots were cast to reveal God's chosen king. First, the tribe of Benjamin was chosen. Then, the family of Kish. Finally, Saul's name was called, but where was he? "He's hiding among the baggage," someone shouted. The people rushed to fetch him, and when Saul stood before them, he towered above everyone else. "Behold the man the Lord has chosen," Samuel declared. "There is no one like him among all the people." The crowd erupted in cheers. "Long live the king," they shouted. But deep in his heart, Saul felt the weight of his new role. Would he lead with courage and honor? Or would the crown bring challenges he could never foresee? Only time would tell. To be continued.